Hey guys, it's Mike the Wrestling Godsmith. This video was actually my video about the WWE AEW, I guess, deal Forbidden Door thing they're trying to do at Royal Rumble. And I'm just gonna begin because here's the thing. And I'm not taking anything from all the other YouTubers out there because like I said, I'm making my own thing, I'm making this my own thoughts. But I'm just gonna get right into it. WWE is not gonna let Chris Jericho come for the Royal Rumble because he's not gonna come over there. He doesn't want to do it because he left because there was nothing left for him to do. And as much as WWE wants to have that Forbidden Door, it's like they're getting it, but they're not really getting that Forbidden Door. Because I've been thinking about this for a while. I've been thinking about this for a while since it's been going on. See, and this is the thing. This is what I'm thinking is gonna end up happening. We're basically getting the idea of WCW and ECW coming to WWE, but everybody going to AEW then instead of going to WWE. And this is the thing I was saying because I'm like, yo, I don't see that really happening when them go through this Forbidden Door thing because I feel like the WWE isn't like AEW where everything is free. Everything is lax. Everything is a free thing. Everything is you make your own career. You do it the way you want to do it, and that's the thing. And I just don't see Vince really letting Chris come over because he's at AEW. He's not gonna let him come there, even if they paid him. And it's the thing with Mox. They wanted Mox back. They wanted him to have $1 million. And I'm just like, I don't think of them doing it. You took guys like Makai Black, who was a WWE guy and was an NXT dude, but never really got to reach his potential at WWE. And this is what I was gonna say with the whole thing. I don't think it's really gonna happen because there's just too much intermingling with every brand. Because here's the thing: the Forbidden Door can happen with AEW and Impact and NWA and New Japan. That can happen. It can't happen with WWE because that Forbidden Door they keep digging and digging and digging and digging and digging and digging and digging. That door never breaks. WWE does this every freaking year because they want more stars. But the problem is they want Warlow to go there. They want him, but I really don't think he's gonna go because they want to build him at WWE. I mean, AEW. Because you bring him in WWE, he could have been signed with them. But I think he's not gonna sign with them because of MJF. I just don't think he's gonna sign with them. I think that he wants to be his own guy, and I see it. You take a guy like Sean Spear, aka also formerly known as Ty Dillinger. You take a guy like him who literally didn't get to go to do his potential because every time he had to get something, he never really gelled in NXT. He never really gelled in NXT, and he really didn't gel in the main roster because like his main roster run was so weirdly short that he didn't really do anything. So when he came back, it was like when he came to AEW, it's a whole different thing because he gets to do what he loves to do and win. Because I see this guy, he can do a lot, and that's what I'm saying. Because WWE, the problem with them, they want everybody to be this corporate version of a wrestler, and you can't be a corporate wrestler because there's no such thing. You can't be a Ric Flair. You can't be a Stone Cold. You can't even be a Kane because they got the big guy curse a lot. And I'm saying this from like experience. From like look at Keith Lee, the guy that they brought in, who was a whole different ball game, who had a bunch of charisma and a bunch of talent. They misused him. You pushed him on main roster, and I'm like, no. This is why I really believe at the end of the day that AEW kind of trumps them because there's no main roster. Everybody's on their own thing. You don't need two brands to put everybody on a brand because it doesn't work. The whole brand unity thing doesn't work. You got Miz who's been there for like 11 years or 12 years now. This dude's still trying to be relevant. And then you're gonna get what? You're gonna keep bringing Edge back another 2 or 3 years just so he can get the Universal title at some point, which I think at some point he probably will. Because here's my thing, guys. We don't. This the one thing, and I've said this many times before. The WWE AEW Forbidden Door thing is never going to happen because there's too much of a Forbidden Door for them. I could see AEW doing a bunch of things with Impact and a bunch of things with New Japan and a bunch of things with all these other companies, even NWA, even Ring of Honor, even MZW, even them. And I just don't see the point of having so much money. And this is the thing I was saying with Vince, because the problem is they did it with Keith Lee, they misused them, and that's the point. I hate that that happens every year. I hate that we get the same thing we've been getting because now they wanted to put Bob Lashley and Brock Lesnar, this unbelievable feud that's gonna happen. That's probably gonna blow everybody's mind because it's a whole different ball game. Because Brock's getting older now. He can't do that part timer junk. He can't go back to the UFC. He can't go back anywhere because he'll keep doing whatever he's doing. And I'm just like, I don't see the point of doing it. Because, like I said, I don't hate. And I see. Sorry, guys, I paused for a second. I see what they're trying to do because this is Vince brain, and this is one thing I'm gonna say, and you guys can quote me on this. But this is why the WWE is failing right now at this point in 2022. Because every time we think we're getting somewhere with these guys, we're 5 steps back or we're 5 years back again. Because now we're literally at this era where Charlotte's still the women's champion on SmackDown, who really doesn't do anything to prove it. Because she's beaten Bayley, she's beaten she's beaten Becky, she's beaten every other woman that was out there. And I'm just like, bro, at this point, where do you really go? Now you're bringing Lita out of retirement so she can have that match at Royal Rumble, even if they decide to do that for her. Because God forbid they're going to do it at WrestleMania or in the smack of things. They're gonna give her a title match at WrestleMania at Royal Rumble to kind of give like a prelude to the greatest match that's gonna happen at WrestleMania this year. But I just don't see it because here's the problem: you got so much money they want to dump in every year because they want to keep dumping and dumping and dumping. And this is what I was saying with the creative, same thing with NXT 2.0. They don't know what to do over there at 2.0 because there's so many people they had, but they lost them. And the thing is, Tommaso Ciampa should have been on main roster, but I don't know if they're even gonna put him on main roster because the draft should have did that. But no. And I look at NXT 2.0, and I'm using a lot of different things, guys. And I'm explaining it as I go. I look at NXT 2.0, and the 2.0 aspect is just a bunch of crap. It's just a bunch of watered down crap. That's all it is. You got Wendy Chu, who is literally a narcolep, or basically like a nubbed lady who basically just sleeps in her footy pajamas, and they tried the Tian Shaw gimmick. They tried the Mei Ying gimmick. They tried everything to fit her, and it just doesn't fit. Because the thing was, Xia Li was supposed to be elevated. She was supposed to be a women's champion. That didn't happen. What did they put on Zion Lee? What did they do with her? They made her a protector, which I don't mind that gimmick. I don't mind what they're doing with her. I don't mind what they're doing with the main roster junk. But this is the thing. AEW Forbidden Door is not going to happen. Because Tony Khan is not going to work with Vince. Vince doesn't like Tony Khan. Tony Khan probably doesn't like Vince. He blasted them so many times on Twitter and blasted them. And this is the thing that I was saying. Because the wrestling industry is so weird, and because we have all these different companies we didn't have. That's the point. And and WWE has this habit of just releasing people on the weirdest of times or the worst of times to do it. And that's the problem. They're releasing these people they're trying to sign up, or they sign and they release them 2 or 3 years, or they go on main roster in a year or so because they're not ready to go. And this is what I was saying with Braun Breaker. He's a great guy. But the problem is they're going to make him feel like an absolute joke when he gets to Raw. NXT UK doesn't even want to be over there because NXT UK is developing better. Thing with Walter, the problem with Walter should have been, he should have been on NXT or he should have been at main roster. He was already a fitting champion. They gave him, he was a guy, he had charisma, he had everything he needed to go. They didn't pull the trigger. They're not going to pull the trigger on Shayna Baszler. They're not going to pull the trigger on Lita and Shayna Baszler because it's not going to happen. They keep trying to pull that trigger on it, pull the trigger. No. That's why you don't see me again, because you know what? They could have pulled the trigger on her. What happened with her? They wanted her to be something that she wasn't. Same thing with Martinez. She's at AEW right now, being the self, the thing that the person that I've seen her be. And this is what I'm saying, guys. This is what I'm saying, guys. Sorry, I just wanted to get the light in there. This is what I'm saying. We as wrestling fans, and I say fans and not a universe, is because we don't get the choices that we make. We don't get the choices. We don't get the choices to do anything that we can do, because the problem is that there's so many people, there's so many brands out there, because WWE wants to be the giant that it is, and it's not. It's not the giant, I look at this stuff, and I look at the stuff from the past to the present. I look at AEW as this future because they're that future. Because they're bringing guys in like Brody King, which I've never heard of. But I'm pretty sure I could look him up, and he's an indie guy. Just like Jeff Cobb is an indie guy. Just like all these dudes who came in AEW were indie dudes and ex-WWE guys, like Christopher Daniels, like Frankie Kazarian, like all these cats I knew who came around. The one guy in this whole situation is AJ Styles. And maybe, because I feel like Tony Khan's gonna give him that offer, like, you know what, AJ? You can do whatever you want. You have time, you have a schedule, but you can do your own thing. And I believe he's gonna be that guy. I believe he's gonna show up at some point. They're probably gonna do something with him, or he'll get fed up at WWE. That's the thing with Impact. Impact wants that money. AW keeps banging on that door. You know who they want? They want Mickie James, man. They want Hardcore Country. They want Mickie James. They want Deonna Purrazzo. They want her. They want Velvet Sky. They want a bunch of these darn Impact people. They want Moose. And the problem with Moose, which I would want Moose in AEW because he fits the bill. I don't want him at WWE. You know what they'll do with Moose? They'll make him a joke. They'll make him a cartoon character. They'll do something with him. I want Moose at AEW like I wanted OVE over there, and Tommy Dreamer and the rest of them, and the Wolves and Eddie Edwards. I wanted them. I wanted them all. I want freaking Rob Van Dam over there. Because he fits the bill, because I feel like there's going to be a guy that he's going to blonde with, and there's going to be Darby. That's why Sting's over there. That's why. You know why, guys? You see, in this world, And this is what I'm gonna say with my own thing here. In this world, AEW, just like any other company, the reason why they're not failing right now, they're doing well in their year 3, and they're still making money, and nobody's quitting, and nobody's doing all this stuff. They're making factions, and everybody's enjoying it because we're fans. We get those dream matches we never get. And the brick wall to this whole thing was that somebody actually had the balls or the brains to go against Vince, because Vince is this one guy who thinks just because he had everybody, and that's the problem. You got all these legends, all these Hall of Famers, and all these guys who had championships, and you don't see them. You don't see them anymore. You don't see him. You don't even see Kevin Nash. You know why Kevin Nash never wants to go back to WWE? Because all the politics he went through. All the politics. Even when he went to TNA, all the politics over there. Even when Eric Bischoff seemingly came back. And I mean seemingly as when he came. Sorry. Seemingly when he came back to WWE, when he came to WWE 16 years, well, I would say 23 years ago. In 2002, he came. And you know what they did with him on 2002? You know what they did with him? They didn't know what to do with him. He knew he had the mind of a businessman in the wrestling world, because he went from being a salesman to a guy who wanted to do everything that made money. Doesn't really care that he lost at the end of the day, because he still has a lot of money and he can go in and do other jobs and live his life and do whatever he wants to do as a retired guy, because I see it now. Even when he came back, even when he was a color commentator on WCW, even when he was doing his own thing, and he came back in this whole new form, and even when he left and he tried to get somebody to sell it, even when FX wanted like 40 episodes or something like that, they weren't going to get that money. They weren't going to get that money from, and I thought about it, like if he would have, if WCW would have came back, or if they would have won, AEW probably would have been a concept. But Eric Bischoff would have had to been ahead of it, or Ted Turner would have had to put more money in. And that's why Ted Turner won't never admit that he didn't fail. It's just the merger with AOL Time Warner, because Time Warner didn't want the business because of all the stuff they did and all the backlash that happened. It wasn't the NWO, it wasn't even Hogan. It was the fact that Hogan was getting too big. Hogan was getting too big, and it's the problem. When you don't have a Hogan or you don't got a Bischoff, even if you don't have a Ted Turner, Tony Khan is like the Ted Turner of 2022. But the thing is, he brings people that want to wrestle. And I like this. I like this brand. So my answer to this forbidden door of AEW, WWE is never going to happen, because Vince is not going to do it. Because Vince got to compromise, and Vince doesn't want to do anything like that. They do rather fire people. That's why John, you don't never see John. We don't know when we're gonna see John Morrison. We have no idea. And this is the one thing I'm gonna say with Wrestling Observer. The one thing about Wrestling Observer, he was right. When people quit at WWE, when they get fired, they quit. They don't. Vince is going to go over hand over fist to bring them back, and he's gonna beg them and pay them all this ridiculous money. And that's why they don't never look back. They're like, listen, Vince, we'll go somewhere else. I'll become a star a different way. Just like they did to Drew McIntyre. Because when they fired him and when he came back a different guy, they said, you know what? Let's bring him back. Let's bring him back. Just like they did Bobby Lashley. When they wanted to fire him because he wasn't big of a draw, he was just a big dude. He went to TNA, became a champion, became a monster, and said, well, Bobby, here's what we're going to do. Same thing with Shelton Benjamin. Here's what we're going to do with you, Shelton. We're going to bring you back. Because you were a young kid when you came here. We're going to bring you, because now you got more experience. You've been traveling. You got more experience. We're going to bring you back. And the sad part is the only guy that's probably not going to get fired is Otis and Chad Gable. Those two are the only people, Randy Orton and Matt Riddle. The only people are not going to get fired, because you know why? And MSK and the rest of them. Because you know why? Because they've been proving their worth every step of the way, but ever since they became Alpha Academy. And that's something they could have been. If American Alpha would have existed, if Jason Jordan would have never got hurt, or whatever happened with him, I think he probably would have been booked better. I think at the end of the day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods is so much money. That's the funny thing about it. He can go on G4 and make tons of money and be perfectly fine with the YouTube stuff and make money. Same thing with Twitch. They'll let him do it. WWE doesn't want everybody doing it, but you know what? AEW says, you know what, guys, do whatever you want. This is not my business. It's whatever you guys want to do. Perfect example. It's not gonna happen, guys. The reason and this is my last thing, because AEW learned that they don't have to be WWE for people to like them. That's why we get small promotions like DPW Wrestling coming in, and they're coming in this war, and they're coming into this thing, and they're building on this thing, because you know why people want to build on this thing? Because they like it. See, wrestling has become such a thing now that people can't say it's fake or people can't say it's real. And I'm also going to prove to people that think it's fake, it's not fake. It's real. The promos are real, the work they do, the blood, the titles, everything from contract signing to getting a venue. It's real. And I'm tired of people saying, oh, it's fake. You know, it's not real. Wrestling is not a real sport. It's a real sport. Professional wrestling has been around since the damn 1970s, going into the 80s, going into now. It's been around for 40 years almost, 50 years. And I say this with all my passion, with everything in my heart, that thanks to the NWA and the AWA and Mid-Atlantic Wrestling and WCW and all these companies that came before it now, before Vince was even a threat. Thanks to people like Ric Flair, like Arn Anderson, like Ole Anderson, like Buddy Landel, the first Nature Boy, Tony Zane, all these other guys, Tom Taylor, all these guys that came in, wrote the Road Warriors, Animal. I even want to thank J.J. Dillon, one of the four horsemen in the 80s. I like to thank Tully Blanchard, a lot of people that made wrestling what it is today. Even Tully Blanchard in AEW, I thank him. FTR, I like him. I respect him. So people want to say that it's real or if it's fake, it wasn't fake. Because without wrestling, we wouldn't have all that. Wrestling wouldn't be a thing. It wouldn't have been a following if we gave up on it. People wanted, yeah. I hear all the sportscasters talking about it, even on NBA Today. Everybody loved Ric Flair. They don't know how he worked hard and he went from being a realtor. He went from selling houses to being a professional wrestler. He didn't have to be the best looking dude in the world, the best muscular guy. He just did it. But in conclusion, like I said, guys, in this video, before I end this video, I just want you guys to think. Do we really want WWE messing with AEW? No, we don't. AEW is going to be big. It's probably going to be here for a couple of years until Tony decides to get old or until he gets older. I remember when AEW, I thought it was just a fever dream when they were getting that TV deal. I thought they weren't real. I thought it was just a fake thing. And I was wondering when I made my first video saying that AEW was coming, and everybody believed me because I was right. So what I'm saying, everybody, all my subscribers or viewers, what I'm saying to the YouTube fans, I'm telling you, this Forbidden Door is gonna happen, but it's not gonna happen with AEW. It's not gonna happen with WWE. It's gonna happen with AEW. It might happen with Impact. It might happen with New Japan. But I'm telling you this now. I'm telling you this on the 22nd of January. We are getting Johnny Wrestling. That's gonna happen, and it's gonna be such a paradigm shift in AEW. Everybody's going to know who the guy is because we know who he is anyway. And it's going to be that realization that everybody from NXT, the former NXT superstar, former NXT champion, former NXT North American champion, tag team champion. This dude's going to make a name for himself, and it's going to be on a different level. He wants Kenny Omega. Everybody wants to face Kenny Omega. That's why he's going. But I say to this, the Forbidden Door has already been opened, guys. It's already been open, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's already been open. We've already opened it with Brody King. What's a couple more gonna walk out the door? We might even get something we never seen before. We got Tanahashi. We got Ichi. We got Minoru. We got Suzuki-san. We're gonna get a lot of people this year. There's probably gonna be more. There's probably gonna be a bunch more people in AEW that are coming in, that are walking in the doorway. Heck, we might even get them all. And I'm saying this to you now. But like I said, I like to end this video, guys. If you guys like this video, please enjoy it. Please listen to it. Because what I'm saying to you guys is, you guys have been with me for so long, for almost 2 years now. And I thank you for the views and the views, and you guys taking the time to listen to. I know I sound like an old guy, but I really am a wrestling fan, guys. And I do this because I love wrestling. But anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Peace.